Hello, my name is Michael Rodriguez. I'm the publisher of the First Valid English Bible. Today, I want to address the 70 beheadings that happened in the Congo. We have a few verses to review. We have Revelation chapter 20, verse 4, referring to beheadings. We have John chapter 16, verse 2, about people who think they're doing Elohim a service by killing Christians. We also have Luke chapter 21, verse 36, which talks about the possibility of escaping tribulation. We have Galatians chapter 6, verse 7, how the Lord will not be mocked. You will reap what you sow. And we're going to go over the 10 Commandments. And then we have Matthew chapter 7, verse 23, when the Lord tells the person who believed in him and in his name to depart from him because he didn't know him. He was a worker of iniquity. Okay. So 70 Christians were beheaded in the Congo. That is a French-speaking nation, the majority French, and they were killed by Muslims, extremists. Now, I believe that this is definitely a sign, and I'm sure many Christians out there believe this too, since the beheadings of Christians are mentioned in the book of Revelation. Let's go over that. Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of Elohim, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. I see a lot of Christians lately saying that the name Allah and Allah himself is actually the devil. And this is extremely ignorant. Now, the Muslim practice itself, the practice that they use to worship Allah, is false. But Allah himself is not the devil. That's a severe blasphemy. The name Allah comes from El. Okay, that's the name of the Hebrew creative sovereign, Elohim. El. El as in Israel. So Allah means the El, the Allah. It's even in the Bible. In the book of Ezra, Allah is mentioned many times. There's no doubt that Allah is just an evolution of the word Allah. Even the definition, Allah, refers to El. If you look at the etymology of Allah, it comes from El. There's no doubt about it. So Allah is most certainly a derivative of Allah, which is mentioned numerous times in the book of Ezra. This brings me to John chapter 16 verse 2, where people will think that they're doing a service to Allah by killing Christians. Greetings. This is episode 2 of 70 Christians Beheaded Went to Heaven, but You Are Probably Going to Hell. It's a grim title, but I mean it. Christians are being led straight to hell by their leaders. The reason I started this series is because I feel sorry for Christians. They're giving their heart, their soul, their money to their pastors, but their pastors aren't leading them to eternal life. They're leading them to eternal damnation. We left off on John chapter 16 verse 2. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth Elohim a service. Elohim is also known as Allah. I usually pronounce it in English, but the correct pronunciation is Elaha or Elaha. I've only read the name Allah in English, so when I read it in Hebrew today, it was a pleasant surprise. I want you to see my favorite verse with Allah. Ezra chapter 6 verse 18. And they set the priests in their divisions and the Levites in their courses for the service of Allah, which is at Jerusalem, as it is written in the book of Moses. I found something interesting in an article in the Times of Israel. The name of the article is Arab Inscription Found on the Tower of David Rewrites Ancient Citadels Past. This shows the time period when the usage of Ale was being changed into Al. I find this very interesting. It looks like it took place more recent than I could have imagined. And on every tower he put a large sign in Arabic, I'm the great ruler El Melech El Muatem Isa. Alongside his name on the stone was the year 1212. El Melech El Muatem Isa, also commonly known in English as Al Muazzam Isa. Forgive the pronunciation. Many Christians are committing a grievous sin, blaspheming against the name Allah, blaspheming against Allah. There was a time when the Prophet Muhammad didn't exist. In that time, Islam was closer to Judaism or even Christianity. Let's move on to Luke 21 verse 36. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Christians shouldn't have to be slaughtered. We shouldn't be constantly crushed. If you were to serve Elohim in purity and keep his commandments and honor him, then you would be serving the same Elohim as Daniel, who was saved from the lions, the starving lions in the lion den. It's a miracle. Or you can be like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, who was saved from the fiery furnace of King Nebuchadnezzar in the greatest empire that ever existed. There's no reason why the same Elohim of Daniel, the same Elohim of Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego cannot protect you in these times of the most inferior kingdom, the final kingdom, the kingdom of clay and iron. Here's a bonus verse about praying. Now, Jesus said that we should always pray, that we can be accounted worthy to escape all those tribulations and to stand before the Son of Man. He also told Peter that by praying he would be able to resist temptation. Matthew 26, verse 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. You can't live in sin. You can't live blaspheming the name of Allah, Elah, Elaha, Elaha. You can't be blasphemous and calling him the devil and be unrepentant. You will pay for that. You should watch my other videos if you haven't. You'll pay for those blasphemies as well. Galatians 6, verse 7. Be not deceived, Elohim is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So if you're living in sin, you're an unpenitent sinner, and you die as an unpenitent sinner, you will go to hell. Hello, this is 70 Christians Beheaded went to heaven, but you are probably going to hell, part 3. The problem with Christians today is that they're habitually breaking the commandments. They're living a lifestyle of unpenitent sin. By taking the name of the Lord in vain to such an antagonistic level as replacing his name with that of an idol, it causes other commandments to be broken. The first commandment, to serve no other Elohim, is broken because you've replaced his name with an idol's name. In ancient times, when an idol's name was known to be an idol, when it was used to replace a holy name, such as Elohim, that was a sin. And over time, to sin and to break the commandment could never become righteous. It's only a continuation of a wicked tradition. What Jesus would say, making for commandments the traditions of men. Adonai is holy. By changing the name of Elohim into an idol, you are bearing false witness against Jesus Christ, making him the son of an idol, turning him into an antichrist or a false Christ. You might think to yourself, the French name for God is not blasphemous, but I tell you it is. The French name for God is Dieu, and it comes from Deus, which comes from Deiwos, which means shining or celestial. And that comes from the word Dyeus, which is an idol. So, you're making Elohim, the Most High, a lesser than an idol. Not only that, it's fraudulent. Dieu, and its etymology, where it comes from, has no right to be used as a translation for Elohim. It's not even a mistranslation. It's a complete replacement. Elohim means mighty ones, and it can also mean mighty one, singular. As evidenced when Jesus Christ, he said, "Hear ye, O Israel, Adonai is one Elohim." So Deiwos, or shining or celestial, is not an accurate translation for Elohim. Elohim is the original. You have to take his name serious. That's why he made a commandment about it. Now, Deus, Dyeus, and all those names that came from the Proto-European pantheon, which is considered idolatry. Elohim has his own name, so use it. Don't make it worthless. Don't detract from it. Don't ruin it. In other words, thou shalt not take the name of Adonai thy Elohim in vain. Adonai will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Adonai Elohim considers the Elohim of other nations nothing but idols. So to use those idols' names as replacements for his name is a breaking of that commandment. If you continue to take the name of Adonai thy Elohim in vain, and you continue to serve other Elohim, and you continue to bear false witness against Elohim and against his Son, Jesus Christ, you will go to hell. If you continue to break the commandments habitually and unpenitently, then you are a worker of iniquity, and Jesus himself will turn you away to outer darkness. Matthew chapter 7, verse 22 and 23. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Unfortunately, many Christians will not make it to heaven. The majority of Christians will not make it to heaven unless they die brutal deaths in the name of Christ, because they live their lives as workers of iniquity